watching. And there's, I got some really interesting comments when I've done it. Usually it's for like student teachers. I'll put it, in the back, and the kids will literally just forget they're there. You're like, what were you thinking? What are you talking about? Okay, I couldn't remember exactly where we left off. Had we covered explain it to your neighbor? Do you guys remember?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought we were right in here somewhere. Paired, quick writes, and right think pair.
We did that already.
These are all Kagan, right? All Kagan all the time. Pause star rank. This is just writing. Okay. Yep. All right. TPTs involving movement. Structure. I think in the thing they call this the appointments or agendas, where you give them, I like calling them dance cards. At the beginning of the year I used to make dance cards with my kids, and so they had very explicit things like, I like to draw my answers. I like to write about things. I like to, and so you kind of create this dance card, and so I color coded it and shape coded it, and so I could put the kids together, like if I wanted them to, if we're doing something where I wanted multiple intelligences together, I would use this particular area off the dance cards. Appointment agendas, you can have them, so as they're working in groups, your 7 o'clock is with Chani, your 8 o'clock is with Lauren, your 9 o'clock is with Brittany, and so tell them to find their 8 o'clock partner. This keeps them from going to the same partners all the time. We do it in Avid too, where you have a wicker partner, you have a W partner, and so you find someone who has a dog, or you find someone who has a similar animal or has something, and you make that pair and they write their names on their cards. But this just sort of establishes pairs in a way that's, you have a little bit of control over. Is this making any sense? Okay, so you have control over who they're paired up with. And they always know who they're paired up with at certain times. 4 corners. Give 4 opinionated prompts. I think they also call this, it's got another name. I think we'll come up to it in a second. But this is your agree, disagree, strongly disagree. Or it kind of goes along with the would you rather, right? Would you rather read? Would you rather go to the movie? Have a conversation. These work really great as icebreakers as well as prompts for different topics. If you're getting ready to write a research paper, if you're getting ready to compare books, give 4 opinionated prompts. Students select a prompt, give time to individually prepare a response, sticky note if possible, break into groups to assign corners. World Cafe, it's got lots of names too. Okay. 3 rows in a row. Okay. I really like this assignment. If you have access to computers, laptops, or anything like this, it works pretty cool too, because you can actually do it like on Google Docs, and then they can all share. So 3 rows in a row. You can use these as a second. Basically what you're going to do is whatever your topic at hand is. So these are just from last class. So this is one of those moments where you walk, give them some basic instructions. Okay, you can only talk to one person one time. You can't duplicate. You try. This helps you determine where their weaknesses are, or maybe also where your weaknesses are in terms of teaching. So what they're going to do is they're going to stand up and they're going to find a partner to be an expert on that topic. And they can pick whatever topic they want. So I'd walk up to Brittany and I'd say, what are you an expert in? And she could pick whatever she wanted off my list, and then she would give me a quick summary, what it means. I will write what she's saying. So I'm paraphrasing what she writes, okay, or what she says. I'm the only person that writes on my paper. Then I'm going to write at the bottom, I'm going to write Brittany's name. She's the one who told me about this, okay? Then I'm going to find another partner, and I'm going to move around the room until all my cards are filled up. If I have any blank cards, nobody knows what a TPT is. I reteach, we review, whatever we need to do. It's kind of a fun bell ringer. And then you can have them share out. They can each take turns. You can have them volunteer, whoever's the most comfortable. But you can do this with actual math problems. You could do it with, if you did a reading, you could have them answer questions over the reading. You could have them, it could be an equation. And you're asking them to explain. So you've got the reading, the listening, the speaking, and the writing down. If you're, depending on how much they're reading, I guess. Okay? But that would be an example, right, of that. And it's one that I always have to, I think, needs a little bit more explanation than this. So this is an example of the math, middle school math. So you set it up, everyone has the same paper. Okay? And it also gives that one student who maybe isn't have a strength, but maybe they've really got area, and so they're comfortable with area. They don't answer the volume, they don't answer the circumference, they answer the ones that they're comfortable with. And then somebody else is going to explain it to them, right? So they're teaching, peer teaching opportunity. This is a testimony.
Do you do this until like all of the squares are full?
You can do it until they're full, or you can give them a time limit.
Do you have to write something down? So that's another.
You're right. You're paraphrasing whatever they tell you. So again, you're giving them like 3 or 4 minutes. They should not be big, huge things that they have to write. So they don't have that much time. You can also do 2 by 3. You can do 1 by 3. It's kind of however much time you want to give them, how many concepts you want to cover. You can do the same thing over and over and over again too. You can give them pictures for your language learners. Put an apple in there. Describe one of the pictures to me so that this is an apple. It's red. It's they have to give you as many descriptive words as they possibly can too. It doesn't have to be. That's a higher level thinking skill anyway, because all they have is the photo, or all they have is the words. You just have to dig. There's surely one in there. Sometimes they put them back, sometimes they don't. Today I did the TPT strategy where students make a 3 by 3 grid, walk around to find 9 different experts to help them solve the geometric area. The amount of earnest, reciprocal peer teaching I saw all day gives me chills. And that's the big thing, because when they're with their peers, they don't want to look dumb. So they're going to pick the one that they know, they feel most comfortable with, and they're going to be excited when they can explain it. How much conversation is up to you. You could say, writer, you don't get to talk, right, until it's your turn to reciprocate. So if I'm partnered up with someone, I'm an expert for them, and then they're an expert for me. If the one I'm comfortable with and I'm an expert with is already done, I can find another partner. I don't have to try and figure out what it is. Ensure higher order thinking skills. Similes. Students struggle with this. They are very literal. And so making these connections is definitely higher level. Scaffolding, students explain, teacher created simile. Students complete prompt and explain. Adaptions are like bank accounts in that, and so they have to come up with their own words. I hate doing these kinds of things because I always feel like it's going to be wrong. I don't understand what it is. Thomas Jefferson was like blank in that he, or in that blank. These make me uncomfortable. So to have students do it, I feel their pain. Okay? I'm not a simile, metaphor, or analogy person.
I always tell my students to explain why you think what you think. Because if you can explain it to me, it shouldn't be me telling you that you're wrong.
Right.
If you're saying this is like an apple, and you tell me why you think it's like an apple, but it's when you don't tell me the why.
The why, right? Well, we do this in our faculty meetings, right? I mean, Mr. Paget will have us do things like this, and it's like, I don't call on me, because I don't want to make.
I do it like with pictures sometimes, like this picture is like how your day's gonna be, or this like all the time. But it's easier because you can't really read all that you're picking.
Right,
It's
right. And with the set and stem like that too, they feel more comfortable. But yeah, I mean that's, especially when you're trying to get them to use the language. I mean it's great. Like I said, I'm uncomfortable with it because I'm afraid I'm gonna be wrong. Or people are gonna look at me like, that doesn't make any sense. Because you know the face when people are like, good answer. I don't know. They're judging me. Hold-ups. For hold-ups, have any of you guys ever used flickers? Okay. I like to use flickers instead of hold-ups because the kids like it when they're using the technology.
And they look around and look at other people's, and they're like, oh, no, they have true up. Okay, true. But that you can't
You
tell.
can't tell. So Plickers is a low-tech, the only person that needs technology is you, and you need either phone or a tablet that has a camera on it. And so, how Plickers work, I can pull it up real quick.
I haven't used it this year as much as I did last year because all of our reading stuff is all online, like through Journeys. So I don't have any paper tests or anything.
Okay, so, library. Oh, no, I need my classes. What am I doing? Okay, so the nice thing about this is you can kind of preload it so that everybody has, who's four? So everyone gets a number, and so on your card you'll see that there's a number associated with you. The great thing about this, like she said, when you're asking questions, the kids have no idea, as they look around, they're trying to figure out who's got the answer, and if their answer is right, it's possible to cheat. 10, 12, 1, Heather. Good grief, Alex skipped 5, 7, there's the 2. No, 2. Has everybody got one? Okay, so your number, everybody see your number? It corresponds with the number up here. So you set your class up, and then you have, right, your A answer, your D, C, or B. So you could do multiple choice, A, B, C, or D. Okay. These, if you do it in your class, you want to do these on cardstock because this is really flimsy, and if the kids are messing with it, or I know you can do. They say you can laminate them, but you want to laminate them in like matte. You don't want it to be shiny because it kind of interacts with the phone. Funny. So. So I go to my questions, I go to my class. I don't know why this looks like this. Methods. All of a sudden, why is this not?
Aren't you supposed to go live?
I go live.
Yeah.
And then you have to
This
use your
is-
app to pick what questions you want. So you leave
Oh,
it.
I've always done it this from my library.
Oh. See,
Oh,
mine's
okay.
never worked that way. Mine's always been I have to be in live
But this
view.
looks funny. Okay.
And then you do it on your phone is what mine's always been. But mine never really worked right compared to.
Because this is select a question your Plickers app to project to your class. Okay, but we're see, and that's why. Maybe it's just slow.
Do you have popped up on your computer or on your phone which class? So you should have a Plickers app.
Yeah, I've got my Plickers app. Oh, okay. Let's see, just opening on my phone on my computer somewhere weird. Plickers. I've got 19 Plickers apps. Things open. Okay, live view. Live view ready. I'm in. Okay. Why is it not?
Did you put them in your queue or whatever you have?
Yeah. This is what's weird is it looks funny. It's in my methods. It's just not going to pop right now. Q. Q. Alright, so if you were to do this and it were to work appropriately, so the first question, you got your A, right? Your A, B, C, D. So if this were working, or if it were working appropriately, you would pick, so what does the TPT stand for? And so on your little piece of paper, you would just hold it up so that the appropriate answer, A, B, C, or D, was at the top. And then I can scan the room and I can look at all your little sheets of paper and it tells me what your answer is. Oh, it's working. I don't know why my live view questions aren't popping up. So I can look at my should be able to look. And then I can look at my data, which is still not coming up. So the there we go. So then I can look at my data and it will tell me what everybody's answers were.
I put the wrong one. Don't worry.
Ah,
It's an
okay.
F for her.
And then it gives you that automatic data.
When
I
the kids see it, it doesn't tell them, like on
Right.
the live view, it doesn't tell them who got it wrong or
Right,
right or
right.
anything.
So, but the nice thing is they can just put that in their binder, give them the cardstock, they can stick it in the front of their binder, and anytime you want to have an activity, you can do this. Now, there's only two choices. You can do true or false and multiple choice. But you can also set it up that this is agree, disagree, strongly disagree, and you can do those kind of conversations, and you can have them from your desk too. You can also do your holdups. True, not true, true with modifications. So they can still hold up their answer. You know, if they're afraid, if they're not quite sure, they can hold it up. And they can have that, their confidence, right? So, nope, that was it, holdups. So for holdups, your four corners, here's what I was looking for. The Likert scale. This is the strongly agree, I guess, where I was calling the four corners. It's, if you're doing Avid, it's philosophical chairs. But you can also, there's another app that you can actually do with this too, and it puts you to put barcodes up, and the kids can scan them and see. Questions. On all of these, again, you want to be sure that you're adding, especially with Likert, when you're doing philosophical chairs, if you're doing Socratic seminar, anything like that, you want to have some sort of reading piece with them, have something that they're going back to. It could be a paragraph, it could be an article, but something that they can have that, build that argument with, because then you want to have them talk about it. Okay, we have them write a lot, I think, as it is. Quick writes, exit tickets, and all these things are very common. They're writing on a regular basis. I don't think writing is something that we have to consciously add in. I think the speaking is definitely something that we have to add in, because sometimes we just want them to not talk. And so when we ask them to talk, it's frustrating because they don't talk about what they're supposed to, or they just stare at you. So you need to get them comfortable and practicing those speaking skills as well. And again, this is strong for our regular kids. This is not just something that RLs need.
What's philosophical chairs?
I think of it as like Socratic seminar.
Okay.
I don't use it very often because it takes a lot of structure.
Yeah.
But you have your document. You're building a discussion, not debate. And that's usually where all the rigmarole becomes, because a lot of people let philosophical chairs become debates, and Socratic seminars as well. But you take a position, you have that conversation, you can move. So after someone makes a comment, I can switch sides. So that's your pre, and then you can have them sit down and then have them have that discussion. It's the biggest thing is having discussion, not debate. But you're discussing something, and they're asking questions, and they're building on each other's, that's where you do a lot of like, I like what Kirsty said, she said XYZ, I agree.
Talk moves a little bit.
Yeah.
For you to incorporate.
Right,
moves.
right. So, strongly agree, somewhat disagree, somewhat agree, strongly agree. This gets tricky with older kids. Debate team carousel. I do this, I call it silent debate. We do it on Google Docs, and the kids love it. So
They had us try and do this in 4th grade before, and it was like way.
this actual process, the carousel, yeah. I was thinking, we did it in creative writing. I can remember doing it in like something similar to this, where you start the story and then you pass it on, somebody adds to the
Yeah,
story.
this was like the opinion and telling them like, and I was like, 4th grade?
Yeah.
It was a bit intense.
I've had them do this. I've had them have silent debates, and you can hear pin drop. It's so funny too, because they're just. So I have them get into groups of 3 or 4. One person becomes the captain. They open the form, the doc. They put your prompt up, and then they share it so that the rest of the people can get in on it. And so it just goes around in a circle. So they just start typing, and they can't type over anybody. They can't change what anybody wrote. It kind of turns into like your wikis, right? Except it just keeps going around and around and around and around and around. And nobody wants to be the last one, because they always want to be the last one, I guess. But you can, you give them the structure. You can do this on a sheet of paper too. They usually just run out of space. If you're like with my higher level kids, honors kids and things like this, man, they start like going back and going after each other. But give your opinion and explain your rationale. So we use them, I've used them with debate or DBQs. So who had the better philosophy for the times, Martin Luther King or Malcolm X? Okay, person 1 number goes, boom, they write down what they believe and their rationale. Person number 2 reads the response. In this box, add another reason would support your classmate's response. This is hard, because if they don't agree, and so you have to be careful when you build your teams. You want to build your teams so that you have kids who have opposing viewpoints. So you do this with however you want to do it, right? If you think Martin Luther King, all right. If you think Malcolm X, okay. You want to put those kids together, because you want them to have to give that opposing viewpoint. That is hard, because they've got to go back. They didn't study. They probably didn't read about Martin Luther King. If their focus was Malcolm X, add an opposing argument. In this box, record a reason that might be used to argue against. So again, if you've got your kids in the right order, they're going against their own opinions here. And then add your 2 cents, and they get to go. And then they can keep going around and around and around on this. And when they're done, they have this like 3-page argument almost, where they are discussing a topic. And there's tons of topics. You throw gun control out there in front of them right now, right? That's going to be an issue. Immigration, I've seen great ones on immigration. I love this in all levels, not with your language learners, but with your language learners. Again, you're having them paraphrase and you're having them add, making them think like their partners. Written conversations, again, same thing. You can do this on a sheet of notebook paper. You can do it in a Google Doc, and you just keep adding. Keep the groups small. That way you don't, because they're kind of always thinking about what they're going to write next. Or that's what you want. Tic-tac-toe. Actually just tried this. It was kind of fun. Write words in each square, connect 3, and then they have to write a sentence using it. There's a game right now, and I keep forgetting. I'm going to go buy it, and I keep forgetting. I think there's like 7 dice, and you roll the dice, and 7 pictures pop up, and they have to write a sentence using the 7 dice or whatever it is. You would definitely want to put parameters on that. I think we were talking about it. Do you have it?
My son has it at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it called?
I don't know. Banana grunts, maybe?
Okay.
Is that something different?
Yeah, this is something different. This is just, it looks like a funny dice. It's not I don't know how many sides it's got. It's got more sides than a regular dice. But, and their pictures are not anything. I mean, it's like an apple and a fox and a tree and something like that.
But can't you get multiple sets of those dice and it like goes up in?
Oh, I'm sure.
Because I'm pretty sure somebody in one of our classes had them because they sound way too familiar.
Okay.
But you can roll them and you've got to make your sentence. Like you roll a noun one, you roll a verb one. And
Oh,
you go
yeah.
like,
Make that. Okay.
Mhm.
I've got those. I've got some dice like that. You can get those at the PTR. This is like a kit. It's like a game. But it's kind of similar to this. And so, yeah. When it's a game, the kids enjoy it. We're not doing that. So, think about the interaction techniques you already use and the ones you've just seen. How can you ensure that your students practice using academic language? Again, we're making it intentional. This website, there's the sentence frames. Well, there's an Anita Archer on there. There's a pick sticks activity. We talked about that last week. Yeah, go over the top with your lesson planning and add, the thing is, if you don't think about them now and use them, you will forget about them, because I do. I have to actually go back and look. I'm like, oh, I haven't done that in a long time. Okay, wait time. This is probably one of the most difficult things, especially for new teachers, is to wait. It's uncomfortable and awkward because the kids will just stare at you. And so until you make them feel comfortable with the wait time, have them doodle. I've seen teachers who have the kids doodle, pick their favorite shape and draw the shape while you're, which square, draw a triangle, draw arrows, whatever. Have them do that where they're not, something that's inane that they don't have to think about, but they're doing something while they're thinking, not just sitting there in that uncomfortable silence. Typical wait time is 1.5 seconds. You need to increase it to 3 seconds. I would say for L's, you want to give them a lot more than 3 seconds. You give them 3 seconds, you give them a hint, or you give them, not a suggestion, because then everybody will do the same thing that you want, that you do. But you'll figure out when you can dribble in, when you're asking them something, we did today, we were talking about expressions. And so we talked about what's an expression. It's a feeling, okay? So we talked about happy, sad. And then I don't remember what word we came up to, but something, and I said, so is it similar or different? And so you can add things like that. Oh, okay, so it's the same. Okay. So is it more or less? So you're giving them a concrete direction to take their ideas, okay? I don't know, or less, I don't know, is the more volunteers, the more comfortable they are in volunteering, the longer you wait. Okay, questioning strategies more varied and flexible, decrease quantity and increase quality. Yeah, you don't have to get through 20 questions if you've got 5 good questions and they're all thinking about the question and they're all trying to respond to the question. And you have different strategies. You can Kahoot it, you can do Plickers, you can do all those different, do just your whiteboards where they're holding up the answer, something to take the pressure off of them, but have them say the answer when it comes down to it. Okay, if they hold the answer up and they hold up the correct answer, have them say the correct answer. Have every single person that got the correct answer say the answer out loud. Doesn't matter if they're repeating themselves. Questions? Oh, okay. So strategies for think time. I got ahead of myself. Have them write the answers. Okay. Showdown, numbered heads together, think, pair, share. Lots of different things that you can, look at me when you've got the answer. Give me a thumbs up when you've got the answer. Put your little cards up or whatever when you've got the answer. Give them an opportunity to talk about it. Nothing wrong with them having a conversation about the answer, as long as it's not just one of them giving the other one the answer. Think of your answer while I choose a volunteer. You do your little pick sticks, where you put everybody's names on a popsicle stick, and then you're intentionally making sure everyone gets chosen. I always think that's a great idea, and then I forget them. I have cups of popsicle sticks. I'm like, and I've done that with where you have like the green end and the red end, and you match them. Great ideas. I just not great follow through. Does the strategy or activity access at least 3 of the 4 domains? If not, how can I add it? And it can be something as simple as turn and have them talk to their shoulder partner. Have them choral read, have them close read, have them, whatever it is that they're actually speaking in some aspect. Especially when we get to the linguistics class, that's where it gets really difficult, because we were talking today, one of the students asked me, she said, Miss, are you a miss or... She goes, do I call you Miss? And I said, well, everybody calls me Miss. And she said, yeah, but what's the other word? And I said, well, it could be Mrs., I could be Miss, or I could be Ms. And you could just see her like, what? And I said, Miss or Ms., and we talked about what that meant. I said, do you hear the difference between Miss and Ms.? And she said S and Z, and I said, yes. And so they're not all going to catch the difference between the S and the Z. I mean, there's lots of words I don't catch the difference in Spanish. I don't know why the bubble, you can't read behind the bubble. What supports are needed to ensure academic language practice? Go back, double check, make sure that you're focusing on academic language, because these are the words. This is what they're going to need when they take those state standardized tests, is that academic language. And I know it feels like we're teaching to the test, but that's also the language that they're going to use in the professional world, more so. Sorry, clickers did not work. I will try and make it work.
Do you want these back?
No, I don't need them. Throw them away. And if anybody has any questions about clickers, there's like really cool YouTube videos about it as well that will show you how to do it. So next week we are okay. Lesson plan 3 is due next week. We are coming to the end of we've got 4 weeks left, and then we have our presentation. So really the only other thing that you guys have due, lesson 3, lesson 4, 2 discussion boards. And
We are not meeting on the 16th on the day of in-service, right? Or are we?
Do I have it on there? No?
I don't know, I didn't pull out my window.
No.
Okay.
Is it the 4/16?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So I see you on the 2nd and the 9th and then the 23rd. Yeah. I was like, oh God. So yeah, so we have we have a 2-week break in there. And then next year, I will mention this again as we get closer, assuming that we're all still together, do you guys think with the time change that you'll be able to be here by 4:30?
We got a 4:10 then, right?
Is 20 minutes enough time?
Yeah. That'd be even better. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. That'll get us out of here at 5:30 instead of 6.
What were you talking about those credit hours that are available to take?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was just like friends. Yeah, I get those emails randomly. I was just kind of putting it out there for you if you were thinking about it. If you're already taking college classes, don't, I wouldn't even think about it.
Tech
But
Summit counts for it too. If anybody goes to Tech Summit, you can.
whenever you get college credit hours, yeah, the district will apply them towards your pay scale.
And
Or they
Tech Summit,
pay for
you
it.
can win cool prizes.
Yeah.
Oh.
You just have, there's only a couple that are worth 2 hours. I think most of those are 1 hour.
Do
So
we need
you-
like 6 to recertify? Does this count?
5.
Does this count? Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna
Absolutely.
do one this summer,
Heck yeah.
just to stay busy.
Yeah. Well, I was when I started doing the math, because some of them are like a week long. They're long days, but they're a week long. I was like, dude, if you did 2 of those and got 2 hours, that's boom right there. You're moving up the pay scale because you just have to have all your
There's
credits.
super cool ones where you stay overnight at the zoo
Yes.
and the gorilla and tiger exhibit. I'm all about that life.
Friends has some really cool. Friends does it. Newman does it. If you look at Newman too, Newman will have something come out too. But they're like workshops. They're just teacher workshops. Now they're not going to do anything towards a master's. Just so you're aware of that. There is no value there towards
These
your
are kind of the
master's.
fun, like
Yes.
if you want, like there's a
These are
Pinterest
recertification
one.
classes. Yeah, these are for the people who aren't working on a master's or anything like that and just want the credit hours. But
Would that count too? That wouldn't count towards
It does for a Friends
a
Masters,
master?
if you get your Masters at Friends.
oh well, are they just a CNI?
Yeah, teaching, Masters in
There you go.
education.
So I would assume that if you looked at Newman and see if Newman has any, they might.
They don't have
something.
any out yet. I tried to look at it. Still have their 2017.
The nice thing about Newman, or the thing to keep in mind about Newman, once you finish this, which is 2 years, the 5 remaining classes that you have to take, you can get done in 1 year and a summer.
Oh, really?
Yes,
you
they're
can
8
do like
classes.
curriculum and instruction.
Mhm. That's what mine is. It's curriculum and instruction in leadership.
Yeah, there's a leadership one.
It's not building leadership. I'm not administration. That's another. That's another one. And so once you get the
And
first
there's
one,
like reading specialists.
yeah. Once you get your first one done, it's just like
Reading intervention.
a few more classes each, and you can get another master's altogether. So that's all. Next week we will have lesson plan number 3.
I gave
Do
you
we
one.
need to turn this in online? Oh, you get to complete the comments.
Yeah. I was gonna print them anyway, so that's why you guys get hard copies of your lesson plan. If you don't want them, throw them away. I can't grade on the
So do we
computer.
need to submit anything online, or? No, it's good.
Not if you've given it to me. Yes.
It doesn't bother me.